how planets affect our psyche. And what are the planets? I'm going to give you an insight that when a particular planet is affecting you or your chart, what it does to you. Planets that affect our psyche and help us into building our attitude, which eventually is our altitude. There is Sun, the Moon, the Jupiter, the Mars, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. Okay, now the major planets that are affecting us, beginning with Sun. Now we all have our own zodiacs where the Sun is placed in the chart. We all know about that. Now that lets us, or that gives us an insight of how people perceive us, how we come out into the world, what is our projection into the world. So the Sun is like a leadership. The Sun is like the facade of you. Now at times in a chart or in a psyche, I tend to say there's too much of Sun in you. Sun also represents the fire energy. Remember that. So sometimes the fire energy is very good to produce. It's productive, because without Sun we are absolutely useless. We are absolutely wasteless, right? So, but too much of Sun can scorch you. Too much of Sun can burn you out. So we must understand our own self. Are we scorching out or are we reaching out? Okay, so we have to balance and hone our personality in that way that we are receptive to the other people and the other people gravitate towards us. Okay, now we come to Moon. Moon is the next major planet. It represents our inner self. I'm sure you'll agree with me. What we project to the world, 100% I'm talking about. I'm not only talking about a certain group of people. I'm not generalizing it. But most of us in this world are fantastic actors. What we project to the world and what we are in ourselves are two different things. So the Sun gives us a projection of how we are perceived by the world. The Moon tells us what we are actually inside. You must have heard so many times people saying, I come out to be an extrovert, but actually I'm an introvert. And we tend to disagree and say, no, you are completely extrovert and you're confident and you're... So the guy comes out and says, I look an extrovert. I may seem very confident, but inside me I know how much effort it takes me to become the person that you guys see me. So wherever the Moon is placed, in whichever house it is placed, it takes up the energy of that particular house. And that is the inner you. For example, your Sun may be in a fire sign. Okay, and now what are the fire signs like Aries? Then we have the fire sign like Leo. Then we have Sagittarius. Now, when we look into these fire signs and a Sun is placed there, we should be very confident people. But let's say your Moon sign is placed either in a water energy or in an earth energy. That means in a different sign than the fire energies. You will always be an introvert. You will always be a shy person. Now again, one has to be very, very well versed with the energies or with the fire, air, earth and water energy. Start with the fire energy, that is Aries. We come to the earth, Taurus energies. Then we come to the air energies, which is Gemini. And then the water energy, which is Cancer. Now again the rotation starts with the fire energy. That means the Leo, fire, Virgo, earth. Then we have Libra, which is an air energy, Scorpio, water energies. Now again Sagittarius comes into fire energy, then we have a Capricorn, earth energy, then we have Aquarius, an air energy, and we come into Pisces, which is a water energy. Now If your moon is placed in any other energy, it takes off the shape of that particular energy. Let's say your sun is in a fire energy, but your moon is placed in an earth or a water energy, it takes the shape of that energy, and that is the person you are in actually. Your inner self, it belongs to that particular. That's why they say this, knowing the sun and the lunar energies are very important. Next we come to the Jupiter, which gives us brains. It gives us expansion. It gives us mind. Now, how well we utilize the mind is exactly what develops our attitude. Jupiter also, wherever it's placed in the chart, if you actually see the Jupiter, if it is placed into, let's say, an earth energy, it consolidates. What does earth energy signify? Loyalty, hardworking, honesty. At times, it may not be very, very brainy, but it's productive. You can't say earth energies are not brainy. They're brainy, but they're more hardworking, more productive. Fire energy is impulsive, so they take decisions very quickly. Water energies, they adapt to the situation, they study the situation, then go ahead. So either they can be going ahead or they can be coming back. Okay? Then the air energies, we tend to think too much. So again, the way it is said in the world that men are divided into 3 categories. People who think and speak, they think more than they speak, they keep thinking. People who speak without thinking, and people who think and speak at the same time. Or let me put it the other way around, people who speak but don't act, people who act but don't speak, and people who act and speak at the same time. So you understand, so Jupiter is what tells you exactly what is the depth of your brains, what is the depth of your knowledge, or which is the sign that the Jupiter is placed, and how it takes over the shades of that particular sign. So I can broadly just tell you roughly for your knowledge that if the Jupiter is placed in a fire sign, it is a person who will be very impulsive and a person who will act probably without thinking too much. Then you will see if it is let's say in an earth sign, it will probably keep acting but not give it a thought that I need to do the particular thing or not do a particular thing. He'll just act upon it. So he requires to think and act. If a Jupiter is in the water sign, it just keeps adapting to situation. That means it just acts and thinks and does all the things together because it's trying to adapt to situation, thus either making a mess out of it, or probably if there is luck you sail across or you swim across. If it is in a air sign, that means it keeps thinking. Now only thinking also doesn't make sense, only acting also doesn't make sense. You have to be perfectly balanced where you can think and act simultaneously. So this actually sums up a person. So okay, the Jupiter is there. Now we've spoken about the Sun, the Moon, the Jupiter. Let's come to Venus. Venus gives us beauty. It gives us a very caring nature. It also gives us that what is our sense of responsibility, not only towards ourselves, but also towards the world at large, towards our family, towards our friends. It talks about creativity. It talks about all the things that are beautiful, luxurious, and what we need for ourselves to enjoy this life. Venus, wherever it's placed, again, at the cost of repeating myself, I want you all to understand every planet takes the shade of the zodiac in which it is placed, or the house that it is placed in. Now, there are Venus, when it's placed in an earth energy, likes everything to be very, very beautiful, very, very perfect. When it's placed in an earth, in a fire energy, It likes everything neat and clean, but at the same time it likes to get more and more. It gets more into the gizmos, it gets more into that state of the art, or it likes things which are up to date. If it's in a water energy, then it adapts itself accordingly and beautifies itself wherever it is. And when it's in the air energy, it talks about beauty, it wants to have all the good things of life, but does it want to work hard? No, if things could come easy. So that's how we come to know that, okay, what is the person's psyche? What does he think about beauty, or about gizmos, or about his hard working, or about what he is himself inside and what he projects to the world? So these 4 planets can make you into a whole human being. Now, rest of the planets, like Mercury, like Mars, Saturn, Neptune and Uranus, how they are affecting the brains of a person. See, Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Venus, it taught us what we want. And Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune and Uranus, it tells us how we act and we react. How does the mind work? Now, Mercury is completely like the mercurial. You must have seen the Mercury, the temperature rises, the temperature falls, the temperature is balanced, the temperature is even. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes you can't catch a person. And Mercury can never be caught. It can give you the degrees, it can give you variations. So Mercury, wherever it's placed, and whether it's retrograde or whether it's moving forward or whether it mostly affects your communication skills. So how you react, how you act, how you talk, how you communicate is represented by the planet Mercury. The earth, if it is in an earth energy, then chances are that the person may take some time to talk, but talk he will. If it is in an air energy, you will see the person would probably be talking too much without thinking. If it's in a fire energy, the person may act, but he may be a little aggressive. He may talk with thoughts in his mind, and he'll be very confident about himself. If it's in a, let's say, water energy, then it'll be more diplomatic. It'll know exactly how to sugarcoat his words. Now, it's so much depends upon where these planets are placed, and that is how you start applying it to your own psyche, and that's how you develop into a person of your own. That's why I say we cannot judge a person by the zodiac he belongs to. We have to judge a person after seeing where are all the planets. That makes him a complete human being. That is why they say that an individual is made up of little teeny weeny bits of all the zodiacs, because the planets are situated that way. And now we come to Mars, a fire planet. It again depends where is Mars situated. If it is in a fire energy, trust me, the person can be full of anger. If it's in an earth energy, the person may have subdued anger. If it's in a water energy, the other person will never come to know that this person also can get angry. In fact, he'll be like a volcano which will simmer and then one day it will erupt. If it's in a air energy, it may say things fast and just go away. You wouldn't even come to know whether this person was angry or whether did he mean to say these words or he didn't mean to say these words, leaving you thoroughly confused. And Mercury plays multiple roles. Mars plays multiple roles. And Mars is always attributed to leadership qualities. Now, whether the person is a genuine leader or whether the person is trying to be a leader, whether he has the leadership qualities or whether he doesn't have the leadership qualities, depends upon where the Mars is situated. And Mars also again plays a very integral part in your attitude, in your psyche. It plays a major part. Now we come to Saturn, a strict planet of discipline. Saturn is a planet which teaches you discipline. It makes a person organized, especially a person who's disorganized. So if this Saturn is in an earth energy, you can rest assured that the person is organized and the person will do his things systematically. But if it's in a fire energy, then obviously he's creating problems for himself, he's creating obstacles for himself, because he's doing things in a very disorganized way, he's doing it very fast. If it's in a water energy, the Saturn, that means it's got lost somewhere and he has to make a lot of effort, he has to really work hard to come up on the top. If it's in an air energy, then you never know when things may strike, you never know when things may erupt, and you never know how to, I would in a nutshell put it, confusion. That this person is confused because he really doesn't know. He thinks he's organized, but he's disorganized. But there is a flip side to it. Sometimes a person may be thoroughly disorganized, but he actually can emerge the most organized person because he knows what he is doing. So and Saturn is a very, very, very eventful planet. Lot of people have misnomers about Saturn, that Saturn is a tough planet and it teaches you lessons. It's not a tough planet. It's like a child who goes into the first class, he finds this humongous school and it's very overwhelming, and he feels that he's been taught, and everybody is being a dictatorship, he's being taught discipline, he's been taught how to behave, he's been taught what it takes to get into the world. People who have actually known Saturn will welcome when the Saturn comes into their life, because Saturn clears the clutter. It makes you see sense. It's like a child having confidence in the parents. Similarly, if each one of you all there can have confidence in the planet Saturn, they will stop fearing the planet Saturn. In fact, they'll welcome the planet Saturn, knowing fully well that now, even if it seems that there are obstacles and things are not happening and you're hard pressed and you're stressed out, you know it. In the end, it is going to give you results, because it clears all the obstacles, it clears all the clutter, and you can emerge a winner. I love it. In fact, I feel bad that Saturn only comes for 7.5 year periods or for 2.5 year periods. It doesn't come more often. So, because Saturn is a kind of a planet that can actually teach you something when it is going away, rewards you something when it is going away. Now, how does it reward you? By making you more disciplined, by making you more organized, by making you see things clearly. It is during the Saturn period only you actually come to know the difference between family, friends, and acquaintances. I never use the word enemies, I would just say people who are indifferent to you or people who are insensitive to you. They end up being acquaintances. So you can differentiate between family, friends, and acquaintances, and then sort your life out in a nice way, and probably you can achieve liberation. So Saturn is a planet, a strict master. Then we come to Neptune, another a planet which completely deals with your mind, which completely deals with your thinking and thought process, which helps you realize that what are the potentials in you and can you make a mark in this world. Now, if the Neptune is an earth planet, the chances are you may not make a mark in this world, because you're very deeply rooted into conditions. You're very deeply rooted into organizations. You're very stuck on a particular way of thinking. So obviously it takes a lot of time for you to erupt. So Neptune may not give you those many shake-ups in life. But if a Neptune is placed in a fire energy, it is bound to, that individual is bound to make a mark in the world. However small it may be or however big it may be, mark he will make. If it is in a water energy, then that individual, you see, when Neptune is in the water energy, that individually will make a mark in the world, but he'll make it indirectly. He'll make others win. He'll give the ideas to other people. And chances are that the other people may pick up the ideas and be winners. But eventually it is the Neptune's idea. That is why at times we say the credit of my hard work has gone on to the other people. That's Neptune. If it is in we've discussed the fire, we've discussed the earth, we've discussed the water. If it's in an air energy, then trust me, Neptune has ideas. It will give ideas. It will not manifest them. And like the water energy, other people may pick up those ideas and make merry. So ideas are there in every energy. It is how you are going to utilize or manifest those ideas is what is going to give you that kind of a success. Yeah. Last but not the least, however insignificant it may be, we should also talk about Uranus. Now, Uranus is a planet that can bring chaos. Uranus is a planet that can bring eruptions. Now, rather than taking this chaos and eruptions in a negative way, I would put it in a positive way. Ki until and unless the shake-ups happen, we cannot de-stress, we cannot clear the clutter, we will never be able to face the issues. So Uranus is, though a very insignificant planet, yet a very significant planet. It's last but not the least. Now Uranus, if it is placed in an earth energy, it means there is fungus there. We need to put new soil there. We need to shake that person up so that he realizes what are his potentials. He realizes he needs to change the attitude. Now Uranus, when it's in a fire energy, this points to the fact that you need to be aware, you need to be shaken up, that you are moving too fast. So you understand that when you're moving too fast, you need to be pulled back. Now until that person who's moving too fast, he encounters problems, he will not realize it. So rather than he waiting to be encountering problems, an astrologer, or I would say a good astrologer, can tell him, look here, you're moving too fast, just move a little slow, be cool. Uranus, if it's in a water energy, we can easily tell the person, you're completely being a diplomat, you're sugarcoating your words, and sooner or later you're bound to face these consequences. So learn to speak the truth. Now when it's in an air energy, then we have to tell that person, ki look here, all these long talks that you're doing. See, some people in life, if you would see, they talk big. So they're all gas. So we have to tell them that you cannot talk big without any proof. If you're going to do this, one day or the other, it is going to land you into problems somewhere. So see, now if you actually recollect and see yourself, the Sun, Moon, Jupiter, which is projecting, and Venus, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, which are like teachers to your own self, you can actually build a life, you can actually become an architect of your own fate if you become aware of the qualities within you. So once you're aware of the qualities within you, where are your planets placed, what are the energies they are adapting, and how they are affecting you, trust me, you can build the life the way you want. Thank you.